welcome to vlog 11. Apologies if you can hear music in the background, but I live next to a pub and they're having a bit of a do with pub singer. Anyway, not a lot I can do about that. So this week was a bit stormy in more ways than one. Basically, we had rain finally, hurrah! But we had torrential rain about 2-3 days. In fact, it's still raining today and the sky is grey, but at least the ground is getting watered and hopefully the water pots are filling up, so that's a bonus. The other stormy side of the week actually both started on the same day, on Wednesday. It was crazy. Okay, I'm baking. So goat's butter, frozen. Gonna grate it. So grating from frozen just gets you there a little bit quicker. I mean, because it's already in tiny little pieces, and then you basically just have to mix it up. So I've put a spoonful of brown sugar. That's a song, isn't it? Because we're making, theoretically, haven't made them before, we're going to attempt to make tractor. We're going to attempt to make Yorkshire curd tarts, which whenever I go to Whitby, I used to go to Whitby for holidays every year, but I'm a long way away from there now. I'm in Somerset, so anyway, there was the bakery shop on, I can't remember the name of the street, and they always had the most amazing Yorkshire curd tart. Oh, so gorgeous. And I've never found them anywhere else. So this is my attempt to recreate some of that gorgeousness. So I've already made the curd out of raw whole milk, which our village does raw milk, which is pretty fabulous because we only had to walk up the hill. And I separated the curd. That's what it looks like, which is basically ricotta cheese, and that's the whey. And I'm going to use some of the whey to go in the moistened flour. So spoon some of this in. Apparently you can make bread with the whey as well. So I saw on YouTube there's an old Victorian recipe for cheesecake, and it was basically pretty much a curd tart. Don't ask me how much of anything I'm using, I haven't got a clue. I always just do it to what it looks like and what it feels like. Not that I'm an expert by any means. Just until it starts sort of gluing itself together, really. I'm starting to get there. There's still some crumbly bits in the bottom. I might give it another spoonful of the way. What's the nursery rhyme? Eating her curds and whey, and along came a spider and sat down beside her. Miss Moffat, that was it, wasn't it? Just another little dribblette of that, just to soak up these extra little bits at the bottom there. Right, that's it. So that's me door. Right, wash hands and on to stage 2. Right, I've tried to angle I'm filming with an iPad because of the geniusness of it, not. So I'm just going to, I'm using these little tart tins, and I'm just going to grease the insides. So these are what I made those mulberry tarts in, and you didn't even get to see them because they just went so quickly. They were really lovely. Tractor going back the other way. There are several farms in the village, one of which is the dairy where I got the raw milk from. Which I'm gutted, they're not doing cream anymore. Oh. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's because it's more time consuming. People aren't stopping it as much, I don't know. Or just because they're getting a bit older. They are sort of cracking on a bit. But it's a shame really, because it was really nice cream. My dad was the baker in our family. He used to disappear off to the kitchen in an evening, and then the next thing you know, there'd be this delicious smell of fresh bread. He'd make bread buns, like lovely crispy bread buns, which we'd have with gorgeous butter melting and dripping from it. They were delicious. So I've got this glass thingy under here. I don't think it's going to be big enough. But I'm not a perfectionist, as you can probably tell. Not unless I'm doing graphic design. Well, then I am a perfectionist. Everything down to the pixel. Okay, so this is going to be my cutter. I'll trial one to see if it's the same size. So this is a trial because I cut from the tins last time and obviously there wasn't enough. Is that going to be too big? Is that going to be too big? I think it might be. milk truck. What's all happening today in the village? Alright, so we have one. Ta-da! Right, so you get the gist. I'll stop this here. And then resume more interesting. So, eggs from the village. That looks like a duck egg. Might be. Anyway, I'm just going to give these a wash. I only wash them basically because I'm useless at cracking them. So they will inevitably, I have to fish bits of shell out, and I didn't want the shell to be all pooey. So, now we have the curd, which that's really nice. So if you salted that, put salt and herbs and stuff in and mix that up, you have beautiful ricotta cheese. But I'm going to basically, God look, it's like one solid lump. So we want the eggs in there. One. This egg's huge. It's got to be duck, hasn't it? So which does have ducks. And then cream is optional, apparently. A couple of dollops of cream in. But seeing as it's a bit hard, yum, love cream. Cream fiend. Instead of sugar, I'm using so fresh spoon and a dollop of honey. Gunk it off. Right, so and we theoretically try and mix this up. This is set solid. Flipping heck. I'm supposed to wix it. Wix it. Wix. You know what I mean. Whisk it. And look, I'm flipping slicing through it at this rate. Maybe I drained it for too long. The longer you drain it, the harder it gets. So, yeah, I probably left it a bit long. Right, so I'm gonna. Oh, there we are. It's getting there. It's getting there. I'm gonna crack on with this, and then. Well, I think I need to put a pinch of salt in and grate some nutmeg to put in, and I need to find some raisins, so I should be back. Okay, it's getting there. I'm just kind of like forking it. Just to kind of smooth down the bigger chunky bits. Yeah, making slow progress, but getting there. Obviously, you want to leave some, so it's still curdy. Curdy. Right, get that chunk off there. Go on, get off your big chunk. Right. Nutmeg. Love nutmeg. So I've got a good nutmeg story. A friend of mine, me and Ashley were at the whatever the bar's called that's opposite the slime light at the Angel. Can't remember what it's called. Anyway, we were there and we were knocking back cocktails and they had loads of nutmeg on top. And oh God, this is my last nutmeg. I need to make sure that I've got some left to go on top as well as in. I mean, you're supposed to use loads, but I don't want to run out. So, oh, it smells great. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I couldn't find raisins, so I'm going to use cranberries. Anyway, so there we were knocking back these cocktails, and then in the cab, we got a cab all the way from there all the way to Croydon. It cost about 50 quid. This was in the 80s. And then when by the time we got to Croydon, it was the summer, like when we went. And then, is that done? Oh God, forgot about them. I'm supposed to be drawing baking, and ended up keeping cooking. Right, I don't have any baking balls or whatever they're called. So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so by the time we got to Croydon, we both started hallucinating, and we could see like old world Croydon, like, you know, before any of the new buildings, and there was snow all over the ground, and then got to my house, and there was a really nice kind of park of flowers just up the road, and it must have been like, it was well in the early hours of the morning by this time. So we went for a walk. The cat came with us as well, which was so strange. The cat was sort of like romping along next to us. And then in this park we hallucinated like this kind of country house party happening in this house that supposedly must have been built there before. Yeah, before, like, you know, all the kind of like modernisation. Oh, this doesn't really, this is still wet in there, so I'm going to put that in for a bit longer. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so we imagine we could like hear this party going on, and then I could smell chocolate. Just like the plants smell of chocolate, which, like, in hindsight now, they might have had one of those chocolate flower plants, but I seem to remember they had loads of delphiniums, and the cat was running up and down the rows of the delphiniums, really excited. She was a mad cat, she was funny. Anyway, it was so bonkers. Anyway, we can only attribute it to excess amounts of nutmeg. But it was very memorable and very quite funny. Anyway, I shall leave you here while I'm waiting for those to blind bake a bit more. I'll turn that up a bit, and then we'll plonk this in the tarts, and then we bake it, and that's it, job done. Right, let's dollop these in. Still shrunk down those, haven't they? As you can probably tell, they don't call me Nigella. When I lived in a house share, I was banned from the kitchen. The pastry's kind of gone all, it's shrunk and it's gone all flat. We're lacking in pastry on the sides. It's going to be interesting getting them out. I need to perfect the measuring of the pastry, don't I? Get that sorted for the future. All you bakers out there are probably screaming at the screen right now, going, "What a flipping mess!" Right. Oh, nutmeg. Nutmeg. Don't forget the nutmeg. Oh, one thing I forgot to put in the mix, left it in the fridge, is lemon zest. But hopefully the cranberries will give it a bit of a bite anyway, won't they? Where's all my pastry gone? It's completely disappeared. Oh God, it's really shrunk right back, hasn't it? I'll have to get some of those blind baking beads, won't I, the next time. This is what happens when you don't have them, okay? This is what not to do, folks. Flames going overhead. Might be those that I videoed it in the other video. I saw them again the other day when I was at the allotment. Right, nutmeg done. Fingers crossed, eh? There we go. In. Et voila. Yorkshire tart. I think I've got a bit of a soggy bottom, so I'm going to need to get those baking balls, aren't I? So I can do proper blind baking for the pastry first. But yeah. Meanwhile, chief editor is preparing the video. How's it going there? I got a message from Maureen at the allotment. She sent me a picture, and her blackcurrant bush had disappeared. So somebody had dug it up. But basically, they'd smoothed over the ground again. So they basically dug it up and then smoothed it over. Yeah, someone stole her blackcurrant bush. Thereby, the investigations begun on who, who had done it, why now? Because the plot that she's taken over was abandoned for over 2 years, so they could have taken it any time at all over those 2 years. But no, soon as Maureen takes over the plot, starts digging it over, starts planting things are beginning to grow. She's been nurturing the blackcurrant, so it's coming to life. They take it now. Who on earth would do that and why? So anyway, we put the feelers out and yeah, it was somebody in the village. Yeah, I'm not sure how much to say actually. A bit of bad blood in the village. Why they picked on Maureen, who's new to the village, hasn't met the person, nothing. I was infuriated actually. I just thought it was so rude, it was so uncalled for, it was so not a nice thing to do. So that was sort of the general bit of a storm in a teacup in the allotment. There was a lot of toing and froing with various emails with various people as well. And we learnt a lot about the history of what's been going on. All very interesting. But anyway, aside from that, my personal war has been with a cabbage white. Oh my God. I built the cage, which you've seen, and put a net around it. They were getting in. So I doubled the net. So it was like crisscrossed over smaller holes. They're still getting in. I tripled the net, still getting in. I put a finer butterfly net around it. They still got in. Oh God, it's been driving me absolutely nuts. I just got some old like clothing netting that you make tutus, underskirts and stuff from, which I've had basically upstairs in my storeroom for 30 years. I had a bolt of it. So basically I took that down to the allotment and I used that and I built a square frame rather than rounded hoop frames. So a friend of mine sent me the most amazing birthday present, which was propagator seed trays with the lids and an aluminium stand as well. So I thought, well, I don't need the stand because I've got shelving in the greenhouse. So I thought, I wonder if I can make a frame, a netting frame out of it. So I did. I kind of ran out of the connector thingies. But anyway, it's Heath Robinson, which, as you know by now, basically the whole allotment is Heath Robinson. I built the frame and I put the netting around it. The only thing difficulty was I had to build it inside the cage because of the narrowness of the door that I built. It would have been much easier building the whole thing outside, putting the net around, and then being able to just lift it and plonk it in place. But because I'd already built the cage, I couldn't do that anyway. So lots of faffing, lots of grumbling and swearing at the staple gun, which basically gave you two staples and then jammed. But anyway, looked at the pak choi today and they're all like the inside leaves, the growth leaves coming up have all been munched, and I thought, what the hell is eating those? On closer inspection, caterpillars, cabbage white caterpillars. I didn't know they liked flipping pak choi as well. So basically, I must have picked off about 20 of them, proper big fat ones as well. I put them in the bird tray. I thought, I'm so over the cabbage whites and caterpillars. I can't tell you. It's just been driving me so nuts these past few weeks. Anyway, that's it. Oh, yes. How could I forget? We went to the bonfire again today because we're allowed to put our cuttings there as from tomorrow. So I said to Maureen, let's do another recce and see what we can grab today. So we went up and somebody had left a chest of drawers with 3 or 4 just pine drawers. So I thought, brilliant, ready-made raised beds. So we grabbed the drawers and there was an old bird table. So we grabbed that as well and took them down to the allotment. So basically we've got these like small little raised beds now. So all we need to do is just get some plastic and staple that to it and then fill it with compost. And we're going to put flowers in there because there's absolutely no flowers anywhere to be seen. So obviously we're not attracting any pollinators at all. Obviously useless for this year, but next year we're going to put some seeds in for some lovely flowers that attract the pollinators, and it'll look pretty as well. That's good. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you've liked and subscribed. And we're going to end this video with all the lovely vintage buttons that I spent 2 days gathering into one place and sorting into separate coloured boxes. So enjoy.